Going to Phoenix to meet Brinley was super exciting. I think she was the bubbly one.
Good dog nature.
Hello. Hi. Hi. I was like, I don't know what to do. Hello.
Good to meet you.
So I think after watching Brinley's video, we were really excited because she's extremely new to the bike, newest of season 3, and also taught people. She's a flight instructor, trained to be a pilot. And getting to have Gino involved too is even better.
Hey, Gino, how's it going? I'm Ryan.
Great to meet you, Ryan.
Yeah, great to meet you.
Pleasure. That's cool. Alexi. Good to meet you, Alexi.
Got all the
things over your house.
Yes.
Wow.
Hey, I'm Brindley. I'm 31 years old. I live in Phoenix, Arizona, and I'm a pilot. So I did apply to the first season. I was living in Asheville at the time, working full time. I had kind of gotten into biking, and so I applied and didn't get it, but I ended up biking that year. I think I biked, my most was 30 miles, which was a big deal for me. And then I'm kind of one of those people that just goes for it. So I decided I wanted to be a pilot and quit my job, moved to Arizona, started doing that. So I couldn't apply to season 2, just watched those guys do it, which was incredible. But then I saw season 3 came out and I was like, you know, I've really been wanting to get into mountain biking. I only have a road bike. I live in one of the best places for mountain biking. I'm doing it. I'm gonna send it in, I'm gonna go for it.
I want to do the Leadville 100 because I want to be involved in the cycling community.
I remember getting a bike for Christmas. Like, we had opened all of our Christmas presents, and then we had this little sunroom, and my parents were like, I think Santa had one more in the sunroom. And so we walked into the sunroom, and there were our bikes there, and I think like 2 days later, I crashed it into a parked car because I was terrible at biking, but I do remember having a ball with the fam on Christmas and our brand new bikes.
Nice. All right. Well, actually, you'll build up the bike, but we can have our nice little Christmas in March.
Let's do it. I can't remember the first time riding a bike. I mean, yeah, but I do remember middle school. It was really trendy to get into skateboarding. And so I got super into skateboarding, wakeboarding, just anything board sports. And I think that's when the bicycling kind of phased out because I was just skateboarding everywhere. I think I maybe just outgrown my bike and didn't think to pick up a new one and really didn't touch one again until adulthood. Moving out west after living on the East Coast, found a little crew of people that were really into mountain biking, but the upfront cost was kind of intimidating for something I didn't know if I'd like.
So this is like drink mix?
Yeah.
So this is calories, electrolytes for when you're riding?
I've been on a bicycle for like a year and a half now. It's cool when you take a step back and think about years down the road after me going through this experience and being like, I can give that to somebody. Like when one of my friends says, hey, I want to get into this, like I can be like, hey, I know how overwhelming it is. Let me get you there. And you guys have done this a couple times now, you know, but every time I ask friends about it, like they're so willing to get you into it because it's like, you know, if you're really into something, you want all your friends to be into it too so you can do it together. And as much as I'd love for everyone to fly planes, it's a little bit of a longer process. So I think mountain biking is a little more realistic.
Flight is done.
Let's do it.
Oh my goodness. Grand reveal. Oh, yours.
Oh, wow. That is sick. That's incredible. Oh, I wish I knew anything about bikes.
It's just colors. It's just feeling.
It's just, yeah, it looks really sick. Wow. That's incredible. I think when we all go to college, we're like, okay, if you go to college, you get this degree and you go do the degree. And so my dad had worked really hard, was in business forever, and he didn't really like his job, but he was successful at it. And with my mom being a flight attendant, that afforded us to experience a lot of cultures and things like that. So my parents had a phenomenal worldview, just incredible to be raised in that environment. I know some people aren't as lucky, but I went out and I worked, and then when I applied, my parents invited me down to the beach, and we were all sitting around, and me and my dad would go and have coffee in the mornings together. And I did not know that would be one of our last conversations, or actually our very last conversation. And my dad's Christian, and my parents were missionaries in their last couple years. And so I was just like, Dad, on a level of, just pagan outside of everything, and then also within your beliefs, like what would make you feel like you had done a good job if you could grade living? And he just really talked about, me and your mom have made so many connections. We have so many, and they had just, like, his funeral was insane. It was packed to the gills of just people who were like, your dad impacted me so much. He encouraged me when I was in a really rough spot. He stayed with me. He called me. My parents were so good about those connections and community that he really felt like life is about the relationships you make and the connections you make to other people. And if you do good there, then that's it. And I think when you lose someone super close, you sometimes feel like, I gotta go do something epic. And there was nothing on the plate for me. And in 2020, it was like, okay, like, I love what I do, but am I gonna be 50 and say, I really enjoyed marketing or, sitting at a computer? And so it kind of inspired that. What could I do to get back to being in communities, but also seeing as much as this life while I got the chance to do it in the terrible event that I do past my 50s or something. And it just shifted my perspective. I was like, okay, I don't have to do the most extreme thing or be the most extreme person, but if I can get to a place in a career where I'm being exposed to other cultures, other people, meeting new people, how do I get there? And that's kind of how I discovered the pilot thing. And even the people, like the other pilots I've met through this training and stuff, like have that same the flying is amazing and cool, but they have that like zest for life. Like they want to see what the world has to offer. And that's the most attractive thing. I think if you ask my family, none of them were surprised when I said I applied again. I don't know if I would describe myself as intense, but I get really excited about things. Like I'm kind of one of those, get really, really into a hobby, get very, very deep into it, obsess over it. And so it wouldn't be surprising to them that I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get into mountain biking and try to do the hardest race there is. Today was kind of a tough day for me. Supposed to ride 3.5 hours out on the trails, just, getting used to this whole mountain biking thing, and one thing led to another. Ended up getting out here like 4 hours after I was supposed to, and the trail I was gonna do was washed out. The trails I tried were very hard, getting some experience hiking a bike. So, Leadville training, here we come. My stomach feels funky. It's just a tough day, but I just stopped, and I mean the scenery around here is insane. We've got just the beautiful Halls area, Maricopa. These wildflowers are just popping off, and it's hard to stay mad. So that's the beauty of it all. I've got about an hour left to go, and I think today, as challenging as it was, has also got me really excited about heading to the camp in Brindley, because there's just stuff today that I was trying to tackle, and I just don't know how. I just don't have the skill set yet, and I was getting in my head about it, and I'm out here alone, so I don't want to get hurt, but I'm really excited to have a couple days to, learn how to hold my body and do everything correctly. So we'll see how it goes.
Talking to Brindley, it's been interesting to hear how important Bentonville was for her. I think people have expectations of what a skills camp is like. And I think when you leave with those skills to go take on features of the Leadville course, it makes it real.
How would you rate your skills, 1 to 10, on a mountain bike?
Negative. I've flipped over the front handlebars once. The other time I got lost and ran into a rattlesnake. So I think I don't have a good perspective yet for what things are super hard and they're supposed to be hard and what things I may pick up quickly. I just got to Dallas. I found out that Megan is going to be on the same flight as me to Bentonville, so I'm headed to our gate to see if I can meet her in person for the first time. Hi. Nice to meet you. I got you. We got to see it.
Okay, can we to the side if we're gonna sit together? Careful. Hi, I'm Kat. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, I definitely have reservations about taking on the challenge. I think I knew what Leadville was, and from following from the ground up and the crew, I've had a decent idea of what it is, but now being in it and biking, and even something as silly as trying out a blue mountain biking trail and realizing it kicked my butt, that this is going to be difficult, and just being able to be fit is not enough. So I'm gonna do my best to learn the mountain biking side of it, as well as the fitness, the nutrition, and just the sustained effort for 12 hours.
A little bit more bend in the elbows.
Okay.
On the way in.
Uh-huh.
And once the front wheel goes over the crest, over the peak, guide it back down. Don't push it, just guide it down.
Okay.
And then allow your torso to stay.
So yesterday I hit this berm. I was on the outside where I was supposed to be, but then I looked at the ground and I went right where I was looking.
Can I help you up a little bit?
Go ahead, Marsh. Keep moving, Marsh.
Listen, this is a lot to take in. You've been doing really good. Don't let this be the thing that sets you back. All right? Listen to me. You're coming around that turn. You were fantastic. But what happened was you started looking inside. And that's what that's what you call that target fixation.
Okay.
You cannot do that. That is something that's mental. And we can work on that by working on drills where you keep your eyes through the turn.
I cried in the shower last night, I'll be honest. Yesterday I had some big crashes, and I think there's just this pressure and this, everyone's around me, and someone leaned over to me yesterday and they were like, "Are you just petrified?" I was like, "Oh, yeah, I guess I am, I'm ready to take on the training, it's hard to say I'm ready for Leadville right now because I'm not, but I think getting through the climbs today, getting to the top, I'm like, okay, I could do more. I could go a couple more hours. So I think after this experience, I want to ramp up my training a little bit more within reason. But yeah, I'm a little scared still. I think I will be up until the day of.
So Brinley today on day 3, we weren't really sure how she'd come into this because she had a good fall yesterday, and sometimes that takes a few days to kind of shake off. But there was a moment this afternoon where all of a sudden I was watching her go off these little jumps, and she found this confidence. I don't know what it was with the bike, but all of a sudden she really started to just look like a real mountain biker, and it was awesome. So something clicked today. I don't know how it happened, but I'm glad it did because she's gonna go back to Phoenix and take that momentum and keep ripping these trails. And I'm excited to see where she's at when we meet up again for Leadville camp.
On this show, on From the Ground Up, there's 3 people that get shown all throughout the season. But the greater impact is beyond them, because the first call Ryan and I have is, are you willing to be vulnerable? Are you willing to take a step outside of your comfort zone and show people how they are not alone, and that any version of what they're going through, someone else is going through at the same time? That community and From the Ground Up is special.
I think watching previous seasons and even them post Leadville, just seeing regular people like myself with all different stories, and how they never felt like, okay, well, I could only do this because I was with Alexia and Ryan, but now that they're gone, this isn't for me. Like, I think it made them realize, like, you are welcome here, everyone's welcome here, and you can continue that forward. And so that's something that I hope that I can convey as somebody who's changed careers and changed, moved around a bit, of anywhere can feel like home if you're in a community. And I think this is a phenomenal way to do that. And so if even just one person's like, hey, I didn't think I deserved to be in that atmosphere because it's just, professional cyclists or people who have been BMXing since day one, to see like this 31-year-old chick who's like, yeah, I don't know, I'll give it a go. Like, if they can walk away and be like, okay, I deserve to be there too, that would be, enough for me. Leadville is in 6 weeks. I don't know if you can see that. It's in 6 weeks. And I leave for Leadville Skills Camp tomorrow night. I am nervous. I know that the camp is very difficult. I've watched the previous seasons and know that it presents a lot of challenges. I don't think any of us have trained at that altitude. Everything I've heard indicates it's going to be very hard for me to breathe. My heart rate's going to be a lot higher than I'm used to. I'm nervous. I'm really nervous. What's really weird is I don't know that I had any expectations for this weekend. I think I knew it was going to be very difficult. I know from previous seasons it's been very difficult. I think the success for me is doing as much as I can for both days until you guys say, hey, you got to stop. But I am hoping to go and see as much of the course as I can so I can go back and be like, okay, and then when I do the race, hey, you made it this far and you're feeling good. Like, let's go to the top. So that's kind of my goal, is as far as I can go on these 2 days. I feel good. I feel really good. I don't know how many miles we're in, but I don't care. I feel great.
Hey.
You! How's it going?
How are you doing?
Great.
Check your bags.
I'm on that mountain high, baby.
Having fun?
Yes.
You've been descending really well. Like that last one? You're
Yeah,
going
felt
faster
good.
than yesterday.
It takes me like an hour to get used to it.
How's this?
I'm just going by
Is that
feel.
full?
Yeah, I only took one sip of that.
You're good.
I'm good? All right. Bye.
You're off.
Vibes are still high. Vibes are still high.
Dream team.
We got a little squeaking situation. I don't know what that's about. I'm gonna just let her squeak and keep going. Did we make it farther than you think we would? I expected this from us.
confidence in you guys.
Yeah. Hell yeah! Woo! Did it, baby. We're at the top of Columbine for Leadville camp. And we're about to send it back down.
Where are we
see
going?
how it goes. We're going all the way back down to the bottom. It's all downhill for the most part. Woo!
Well, no crashes, right, during this? Or did...
You know, I fell off my bike backwards a few times during Leadville camp. I got a nice bruise on my booty. I fell going uphill. I was going up power line. I was trying to stay on my bike, and it was just a little squirrely, sandy spot. And so it was just kind of this slow motion, and so I just kind of came unclipped and flipped off the bike, and I just turned around and did jazz hands. It was the best I could do.
Well done.
How did it go?
It was good, actually. It was really good. It was super challenging, but I knew it would be going into it, so I had a great time. Prior to camp, I really spent some time thinking about, okay, nobody's finished the full 2 days before, and you need to be very careful to not let that be demotivating for you, because I don't want to go to camp and think, oh no, I still have Leadville. Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah. Super proud. That was wild. Get that helmet here. It's one of those, like, I'm happy, but my body is tired.
Sure it is.
I was like, I'm not gonna cry at the end, I'm just gonna smile.
Yeah, job.
Thanks, Pete.
Crushing.
That was awesome. And so I kind of came to terms, I'm going to do my best on day 1, and day 2, if you have to turn around, just listen to your body. You got 6 more weeks to get it together. And then we freaking did it. So it was just this elation of, wow, I was able to do these 2 days of Leadville. Now I need to squish those together in one day eventually, but yeah, I think if I'm able to finish Leadville, I think even if I'm able to make it to the first checkpoint, that will just be a holy cow, you are capable of so much more than you give yourself credit for.